Hi, I'm Jenny at Tech for Techs, and today I'm looking at this CRONUS Theia case. It has a tempered side and a mesh front for maximum airflow. If you're interested in buying the case or curious to the price, we have links just below.
Before we go on to the main video, if you would do us a favour, click that like button, subscribe, click the bell as well. And that way you'll get notifications of new videos and live streams we do. Again, doing all these things helps support the channel, and helping to support the channel allows us to release more videos, better quality videos, and more content exclusively just for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the box. On this side, you can see a sketch of the case. On the back, it's a mirror of that, so we won't go there. On the side, you can see the specifications. And on the other side, that's a mirror of this side. Okay, let's take a look at the key features. We have a stylish exterior, a hinged 4mm thick tempered glass left side panel allows for easy access and shows off the lighting coming from your ARGB fans. Supports up to 5 cooling fans with 3 ARGB LED fans included. I/O panel, easy access to 2 USB 2.0 and 1 USB 3.0 ports, as well as the button to easily switch the style and the color of your ARGB fans. The form factor, Micro Tower. Motherboard support is Micro ATX and Mini-ITX. You do have a power supply shroud. The supported radiator sizes are, on the front, 240 to 280 millimeters, and in the rear, up to 120 millimeters. The material is made of, the body is steel, and that is 0.55 millimeters. The side is 4mm tempered glass. The front is a gemstone-effect mesh. The drive bays, you have 2 3.5-inch bays and 1 2.5-inch bay. You have 4 expansion slots, and your cooling, you can have 2 120mm fans or 2 140mm fans. The top, 2 120mm fans, and in the rear you can have 1 120mm fan. The clearance, internal cable management depth 15 millimeters. The GPU max length is 300 millimeters. CPU cooler max height 160 millimeters, and the PSU length 165 millimeters, or if you remove the hard drive tray, you can get 184 millimeters. The product dimensions are 335 by 200 by 395 millimeters. That's length times width times height. And let's take a look at the case here. It's quite attractive with the tempered glass and everything. I do like this one thing that they've done. They've put a little loop here that you can pull the door open with ease. It is magnetic, so it will close back really nice. Okay, I'm going to take the side off now because I really don't want to scratch this or even worse, break it. So let's just open it about that much, and then we're going to lift up and it comes off. Okay, let's look at the front here. As you can see, we have our mounted ARGB fans that come with the case, and also there is a mesh crystal effect front. Now, what that means to you with the mesh front is you should, in theory, get better airflow with this case instead of having like a tempered glass on the front, which can sometimes hinder airflow. Okay, let's look at the top here. I know it looks like you could probably get a radiator on the top, but I would advise against it because it's going to interfere with your motherboard. Fans only on the top, and it will support 2 120mm fans. You have your USB 3, 2 USB 2s, your audio headset and microphone. You can use your reset button for ARGB or reset, depending on how you have it configured, and of course, your power button. Okay, it's not much to see here. This, of course, is the motherboard side. So I'm going to turn it and let you see the back. Apologies for the bumping. Now you have fitted a 120 millimeter rear ARGB fan. You have 4 expansion slots, and of course, this is where your power supply will go. Okay, let's look at the bottom here now. I noticed that they gave us a dust filter, but it's a little bit pointless because you've got to turn your computer over to get to it. And what that means is you're going to be bumping graphics cards potentially and all sorts of good things. So in the future, I would like to see them put that on a tray that you can move in and out. I've had it before on cases, and it's wonderful. It's a must-have for any dust filter on the bottom. Now, moving right along, you have 2 screws here, and that is to allow you to remove your hard drive bays, should you choose to. You have 4 rubberized elevated feet on the bottom as well. Okay, let's take a look at the case a little closer. I have taken the liberty of taking the back off so that we can see a little bit better. I will note that the thumb screws were easy to get off, unlike some that I have come across where you needed a blowtorch to take them off. These were very easy to turn. Inside, bag of screws, and I did not get a manual. No QR code, no manual. Luckily, I know what I'm doing. So, moving right along, your PC shroud is fixed. It cannot be removed. Along the top here, you have some holes for ventilation, which is good. You have 2 holes on the shroud for cable management. I do hope that this one here has enough clearance, though. We have reviewed one of the other CRONUS cases, and it did not have enough clearance if you had your power supply already fitted in there. So I hope that this one has more clearance. If not, then they need to have a look at that. Along the front here, you have a cutout for your radiator, but you really do need to make sure that the depth of your radiator is no more than 38 millimeters, or you're going to run into problems right here because it can be tight. You also have cable routing holes through here and here. Now, one thing I would have liked to have seen is rubber right through here. And the reason is I'm just really one of those OCD people that does not like to see the cabling, but that's neither here nor there. It's very smooth through here. It will not cut your cables like some without the rubber. So that is good as well. You have a hole behind the motherboard so you can mount a cooler. If you already have your board in there, you don't have to take it out. So that's nice. Your fans, they have 9 blades. So that should make for really good cooling. Also, in your shroud, you have a cutout so you can see your power supply. Now, that's a good and bad thing. If you have a really cool top-end power supply, it's going to shine through there and you can be proud of it. But if you got a really crap power supply that you really wouldn't want anyone to know about, that's also going to be seen too. So I'd like to have seen a little door that would slide back and forth here so you'd have the choice of showing it off if you wanted to or if you didn't. Okay, we're going to talk about my favorite part of building, which is cabling and the management thereof. So you have your USB 3 cable all the way to the tip. It is black. Wonderful. And also, ta-da, all the way to the end, USB and HD audio are black. Not some sort of rainbow or sachet packet, but black. Thank you. Someone has been listening to me, because on another case we reviewed by them, both of these looked like some sort of explosion of Lucky Charms. I mean, it was bad. So wonderful. They got the memo. Moving right along, you have also totally black power connections, hard drive LED, power LED, and reset connections, all totally black. Loving it. We have fan connection. Now this will power your fans and your RGB. You cannot get around this. If you don't use it, it's not going to work. So this is your standard Molex connection here. Okay, and this right here is for gigabyte boards. It uses this connection. If you have a gigabyte board of any kind, whether it be low end or Aorus or whatever, I suggest you use this one because it's what it's meant for. And this is your standard ARGB connection. Now, if you have a board that does not support ARGB, there is hope for you. You can use this and you connect up the reset cable. Luckily, I had that on standby, and it just slides into there like so. Now, originally, when I read out the specifications, I was under the impression that I can have two 3.5-inch drives as well as a regular size solid state drive. Now, that's not exactly true. I can have two regular size hard drives, or I can have one standard size SSD and a hard drive, or possibly, and I do mean with a little bit of tweaking, I could possibly have two solid state drives. The reason I say possibly is along here, the cabling might be a tight squeeze. So bear that in mind if you wish to have two SSDs. It might be a little bit tedious depending on your cabling. Now you've got ample room for cable management right in here with your power supply. Most power supplies are not going to take up too much room. They're probably going to come to about right here. So there's plenty of room. I hope that in the front they didn't use too much cutout like they did in one of the other cases. That's always annoying when you can see your cables. But we will find out and report back. Okay, so I've got it built up. And I must say the build went relatively easy, with an exception of I had to take the back fan out to drop my motherboard. And that may be in part due to it's really high up in the back to the cover of the VRAM area. But other than that little niggle, everything went quite smoothly in the build. The cable management, it was really easy to work with. The depth in the back for the cables is really good. The clearance in the shroud area that I was concerned about was nothing to worry about on this case. It looks like they may have gotten some feedback or something and rectified it, or just did it right the first time. Who knows? But yeah. Also, I failed to mention before that they are flat black cables that go to the audio and to the USB, which is good, and they always really look nicer. Apologies in advance for not having a power supply that had all black on it. This is the only one I had laying around. The rest are on test units at the moment, so apologies for that. I would have liked to have shown it off in all black. But hey-ho, that's the way it goes sometimes. Okay, look at the mesh front here with me. If you notice, well, you probably can't see it on camera, but I noticed that if I look at my fans from different angles, they look different. And I thought that was really, really cool. So that's just one nice selling point there. The fans are not really special fans, but they do look nice. You cannot control the speed of the fans, though. That's a downside. And what that means is it's going to be one constant volume. So they're not the quietest fans I've ever heard, but then again, they're not the loudest either. But if you wanted a super quiet room, you might be annoyed. We've done airflow tests, and the mesh front does not bother airflow. Everything is as it should be on that, and that does not surprise me. Plus, you have the ability to add 2 more fans up at the top, and these would be outtake. We have kept the build to a basic build, with the exception of the RAM inside. That's the only RAM I had floating around for this build. We kept it to basic for the simple reason we wanted you to see the case, not a fancy build. We wanted it to sell itself and let you be the judge. Okay, I'm going to do a sound test on the fans for you. I'm going to hold my microphone over so you can hear the sound of the fans if you were closer to the case. All right. So in conclusion, if you don't mind a little bit of a whisper of the fan, you should be okay, but I'll let you be the judge of that.
Thank you for watching this video, everyone. It's really appreciated you made it all the way to the end. Please make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and even click that bell so you get notifications of new videos and live streams. It does help support the channel, and supporting the channel basically means that we can release more content for you and also better quality content going forward. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.